Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Love Experience Show. I am your host, Ashley J. I am so happy to see you here. So, I have a question. Would you like to be a guest on the Love Experience Show? You can let me know by finding me on all my socials under it's Ashley JW and my email ashley at itsashleyj.com. I am looking for guests. I want to see guests. Hey, Dr. Kishma, I want to see guests on the show. So you can reach me on those platforms and via email and let me know that you would like to be a guest on the Love Experience Show. And I will set you up with a date. And as always, the Love Experience Show comes on every Thursday at 8 p.m. So how is everybody doing today? Go ahead and share this episode with 5 people. Tell them to come on and watch, especially if they're single, because tonight I am dropping some gems for the single ladies. Okay. And I think it's going to be good, but y'all let me know if it's good because you know how I like to talk to you and have you communicating with me as I am live. So as I'm doing the show. So let me see if there's anything important. Nothing important I need to share with you. So tonight we are talking, you see the title, I'm ready, I think. So the title of the show came about because there's so many people who are at a point in their life, if they're not married, they're ready for marriage, right? And we can kind of try to figure it out on our own, but I think it would be great for me to talk to you about the process because I went through the process and I also help people get through the process. So, a little bit about my journey on the process was I was, this was, Lord, about 13 years ago. Goodness. I was healing from a breakup, and there were things that I was, starting to open up about, like starting to date again. But this time I felt like I needed to be serious about who I dated, who I spent my time with, and what I was looking for. So after talking to the father uh, quite frequently during that time, he was sharing with me what I needed to do. So one of the steps, I wish I grabbed the book. One of the steps I took was I read books. I read quite a few books, and there was one book in particular that was dedicated to just a, it was like 101 questions, I believe, to answer and ask someone when you're dating and getting ready for marriage. And that book was very instrumental for me because I had to take the time to really think about what I'm bringing to the table and what I was expecting and what I was looking for, right? So that was part of my process, and I can't remember how long it took me to read the book, but I know I took some time to read it because it was a lot for me to consider, things that I never considered before, and I'm very grateful for that book. um and I thought about writing something similar to that, but that was one thing. I also worked towards trying to figure out finances. That was not a strong suit of mine at that time. I'm still learning things, but I feel like I'm in a much better place when it comes to knowing finances. Um, so I had to kind of start wetting my feet when it comes to finances because only thing I did and knew was go to work, get paid, pay for the bills and the roof over my head and food. Like that was it. um didn't know anything about saving. I didn't know much about anything outside of that. So learning about finances was a big deal because I had things I needed to learn. I had things I needed to know. I knew of a few things people would tell me, like my father told me, oh, oh, don't ever get a credit card, and things like that, but nothing that would tell me, okay, I'm absolutely ready to unite my life with somebody else. So learning about finances was a big thing for me. What else did I learn? This journey helped me heal. There were places in life that I needed to heal from, things that I need, relationships that I needed to heal from. That was very important for me. So healing was top priority. And also getting my relationship to a good place with God. One of the downfalls of having a being in a toxic relationship is losing my connection. And maybe you've experienced that as well. Maybe you lost your connection with God being in a toxic relationship, or just being in a relationship period, because I can say for myself, I won't say y'all because maybe it didn't happen like that for you. But for me, I really had to, I had to pay attention to what I did. And I had to learn some of my behaviors when it came to being in a relationship, because one thing that I did was I want to devote all my time to you, talking about the guy, whoever it was, devote all my time to you. And no, I'm not going to do anything that I feel like would run you away. And that may have been not paying attention to the father, which when you're in the dating world, that is a huge mistake. Huge mistake, because you are constantly running into so many different people, and you're opening yourself up to so many different personalities and beliefs. And if you are not strong in who you are, and I'm going to get into this a little more later, but if you're not strong in who you are, then it's possible that things that are helping you, things that were behaviors and routines, that's the word I was looking for, routines that you were used to doing, may go by the wayside, and you may not do them as frequently as you did before, or at all. I know one thing I was taught as a young girl was always making sure that I start my day with talking to the Father. And when I got into that relationship, it was a few relationships. When I got into those relationships, that went out the window. I was not paying attention to the Father. And I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm saying that because it's ridiculous. I should have never put down the person that protected me and kept me through all of the different things that I've gone through. Like, what, really? No. So that was something that I had to get strong in. So yeah, that was part of my journey, and really learning who I could be around and who I couldn't be around. Because if you want to change your life and start dating with intention to get married, some of your friends you had when you were single are not going to be your friends when you are changing your lifestyle, because this is 100% a lifestyle change. Let's be real. It is a lifestyle change when you decide that you want to start dating with the intention to get married. You have to change your lifestyle. And a lot of people are not going to like that. And they won't be able to come with you. And that's the honest truth. Even when after you get married, or as you switch seasons in life, and be elevated and do all of the things that you are supposed to be doing, those friends, your friends are going to change. There will be some that you maintain. There will be some friendships that you maintain when it comes to um life. But a good portion of them that are not on the same wavelength as you, and they are not about changing their behaviors or upgrading their life, you will lose those friends. And that is a huge fact. It is something that is never, ever comforting for anybody, but it is what happens. It happens. Unfortunately, it happens. So you have to be ready to change your friendships. And that was part of my journey. Some friends stuck, some friends did not. That's okay. It hurts in the moment, sure. And it will hurt when it pops up again. But it's what happens in life, to be honest. So, when you get to the place where you are ready to date with intention, and you have a really serious conversation with yourself. When I say have a really serious conversation with yourself, you have to really talk to yourself and be brutally honest. Am I really ready for this? Am I really in the place that I feel like, I can welcome someone into my life that is not necessary, that is not here now, and I want them to be here for the long haul? Am I in that place? You got to answer that for yourself. I felt like I was. So the thing that had to happen first was being in the right mindset. So this kind of goes along with what I was just talking to you about. So one of the things would be deciding. One, you have to decide, as I said, make the decision that you're ready to be here. And then also, you have to shift your lifestyle. Your lifestyle has to switch into being ready for marriage and turning away from being the fun girl. And that, I mean, you have, like, it's going to be hard because it's changing some behaviors that you had maybe if you were not in your 20s anymore, or maybe you're in your late 20s. It takes a big adjustment because the 20s, you're having fun. You are experiencing everything that you want to experience at that time. So you have to change your mindset. Um, if you are not someone who, if you're not a virgin, then you have to be selective. And I mean, I would honestly say even be celibate, because this is like a new lifestyle. This is like you're changing identities. Thank you, Lord. You're changing your identities. And with changing your identities, that means that you have to make your behaviors line up. So that means there is no more just having sex because you feel like it. You need to be celibate. You need to chill out and practice restraint, because the man that you will welcome into your life, who is going to be the man that you end up marrying, if it is the correct man, then it would be better to start off with you not having a whole lot of, run-ins with people from your past, the ones that you could call, because he'll be ready. You just have to pick up the phone and call him. So you have to change that. So celibacy is what you need to do, because it also helps you keep your mind clear. I don't know if you ever realized that sex taints everything. Sex distorts everything. So part of those relationships shifting and changing and failing those romantic relationships, probably because sex got in the way and it kept you from keeping a clear head and understanding who you were dealing with. And if I know for myself, if I did not have sex with some of those men in the past, I would not have any toxic relationships to talk to you about. So you have to watch who you have to just stop. And that's what I had to do. I had to stop. I had to try to get my mind right. And that can be a challenge because if you're used to getting it, you got to adjust to not getting it. So practice celibacy. That helps you get into the right mindset of dating with intention and keeping your mind open and clear and keeping your spirit pure, or it's not getting clouded because you're introducing another person, another spirit to your body. Okay, so also part of that shift needs to be learning what you can about marriage. It's really helpful to talk to people who have been married before, even talk to women who have gone through the process of preparing for marriage. It is helpful when you are in this place because they can give you some tips. They can give you some pointers on what they did to get ready. You don't have to necessarily do everything that they did, but there are some things that you will be able to pick up on. So talk to people, talk to men. Like, one of the things that you can do if you have people who have been married for a long time in your family, talk to them. They will be more than happy to tell you. Talk to them because marriage is real and you need to get some guidance on marriage. Not everybody you can do the same thing as them, but you can pick up something from them when it comes to preparing for marriage. One thing that we did for my bridal shower was I had a box. It was a jewelry box, but it was a very nice jewelry box. And at my bridal shower, they passed index cards around to all the women who've been married. And that is currently married and not married, as far as getting divorced. And they all wrote down advice for maintaining marriage, for maintaining myself as a wife. And that was, I don't even remember who came up with that idea, but that idea was a fantastic idea because I learned quite a bit. And it's probably something that I never would have explored before if I did not, or I didn't come up with the idea, but if they did not do that, because there were a lot of gems that was written down in those index cards. And honestly, I could probably take them out and explore them again and look at them again because I don't think I've looked at them since around my wedding. So that was something that was really great. So that is why I'm telling you to reach out, ask them about what they did to get prepared for marriage and maintain their marriage. Another thing you could do, there is this very famous doctor. They're actually a couple. They're both doctors in this marriage, and their names are doctors John and Julie and John Gottman. Excuse me. and they have a wealth of information and plenty of books that you can order on Amazon about different things with marriages. Like their their thing is kind of like helping people rebuild their marriage, but the information that they give you is information that you can use to set the stage. So get their books, figure out how to have conflict resolution in your marriage, figure out what to do to keep the spark alive in your marriage. They have all of that information and you need it. So definitely read those type, getting yourself in front of those type of books and that type of information is really important during this time, because that helps you get in your mind that you are preparing for marriage and you're not going to just accept anything. So that is one step. Okay. Then you have know what you want. So I think I may have talked about this before, but one of the things that I did under the guidance of the Father was wrote down every single thing I wanted in a man. Every single thing I wanted in a husband, what I wanted him to look like, how I wanted him to be. Like I wish I had that that list still. I don't know. I think I got rid of it when I moved. But every single thing that I wanted in a man, I wrote it down, starting from the shallow things to the very in-depth under the surface things. I wrote everything down, and you need to do the same thing, because if you take the time to sit down, think about it, and really, really think about it and pray about it, then you will realize that what you've had in the past obviously is not working because you're not with them. So you need something different. Do not be afraid to try something different. That is what you need to do. Try something different, because those things that are different will be things that will make you happier. So for me in the past, my whole thing was I wanted somebody who was maybe I don't think I really said my complexion, but I wanted somebody that was darker than me. And when I say darker than me, like I wanted somebody that was chocolate. And I was accepting if they was like a few shades darker than me. So that was one of the things. And they had to be over 6 feet and they had to be this and like all of the things, right? I did that. But here is the thing. I needed to find something different. So I did not say I needed somebody 6 feet. I just said he needs to be taller than me. Okay. And that's not a whole lot that he needed to be because I'm only 5'3". But he needed to be taller than me. Boom. Got that. So he's taller than me. The skin complexion didn't really matter. I knew I wanted a black man, but the skin complexion didn't really matter because hanging on to that hang up with having a darker skinned guy, that didn't always bring me happiness. So had to throw that idea away. Skin complexion didn't really matter. One of the major things that I wanted was somebody who was established. It was important for me that I married somebody who already was good with money, somebody who has built his life with all of the things that he wanted. That was important for me because I know I'm no good. I was no good with money. I just knew, as I told you, the basics: make money, pay my bills, feed myself, and that's it. So I needed somebody who understood money much more than I did. And that was, like I said, was extremely important. And he was established, as in he already went through the process of buying a home and owning the home. He already went through the process of maintaining a vehicle. Um, and when he had furniture, like, I know that sounds crazy, but I needed him to have furniture because then I would know, okay, you know that you need to furnish your house and you're going to do the things that you needed to do to furnish your house. Cool. Got that. So that is, and it was important for me because I needed stability. I already showed myself that I can provide my own stability. Now, in me joining and having a union with a man that I'm going to marry, then he needs to be able to provide stability for me. Why? Because I grew up in situations where there was no stability. Um, I grew up in situations where my mother was the only one working to maintain a household. And the man that she was married to felt like he needed to be pampered. I did not want that in my life. That I experienced the hell that puts you through. I did not want that for my life. I needed somebody that was going to maintain stability and make sure I'm good. When children come, the children are good and we're happy. We're not tripping about money and where or how are we going to eat or borrowing money from, like, we're not tripping off of that. That was something that I did not want for myself. So I made sure I elevated my thinking to want somebody, elevated my desires to wanting somebody who already had that. Because also that signified to me that I am not dealing with a little boy. I am dealing with a grown man. And could I have taken somebody who had a condo? Sure, I would have taken that, but that wasn't going to suffice for me because I want to have a family. I want a place that I don't have to move out of because it's not big enough. So like, you have to think about all of those things. Everything. You have to really take a deep dive into who you are, what you've experienced, what you want and what you don't want when it comes to this process. You have to take a deep dive. So stability was I won't say number one, but it was up there. It was top 5. Stability was top 5 for me. And established in a career. He already knew what he wanted to do. He was already working in that field. He was already doing the things that he needed to do to become to get promoted, to keep growing in that area that he was working in. That meant I didn't want anybody. This is not a knock. I didn't want anybody working at the grocery store. I wanted somebody with a career, not somebody working a job. I had enough of people who were working a job. I needed somebody that was in a career. So I wrote that down. I wrote down whether or not I wanted somebody with children. That was important for me too, because I went through a situation where I was with somebody who had kids, 2 children with 2 different people, and there was no, how can I say this? I came very last, but this is the thing, because he was not just for me. I'll just say it like that. So the person that I wanted to marry I'm cool if he had kids, because also I wanted somebody older. I forgot to say that. I wanted somebody that was older than me as well. And with me already thinking about wanting somebody that's older than me, I had to realize, okay, we going into another age bracket, so that means he'll probably have children. How many kids am I cool with him having? So I wanted the person I wanted to be with, I wanted them to have one child. I did not want multiple baby mamas. I wasn't dealing with all of that. So he had to have one child. That was all I maybe would accept two if they were by the same woman. But mostly I just wanted somebody that had one kid. If the list went on, okay, it was like 2 pages long. I wanted somebody that was funny, because I love the fact that my uncles were very silly and they always were, making us laugh. I wanted that for myself. So I needed somebody who had a sense of humor. And it was, I mean, like I said, the list went on, but I was very intentional on maintaining that list. I rehearsed that list because I rehearsed it because I needed to make sure that the men that I met, they met those requirements. My list, those were requirements. He needed to have that before I agreed to go on a date or agreed to go on a second date. That was a requirement. So I knew exactly what I wanted. The only thing, like when I talk about my husband, the only thing that was left open really was his looks. Like I said, I knew I didn't want anybody that was, they didn't have to be chocolate. That was my favorite flavor. But the man that I married, he didn't have to be chocolate. So if you see the picture, he's not chocolate. We like the same complexion. So I was cool. Also, maintaining boundaries. It's so many times where I'm, talking to women and talking to people, period. And they talk about relationships that they've been in and talk about their desires and all of the things, right? And then I say, what about your boundaries? Did you set those boundaries? No, I didn't. You have to set boundaries, because boundaries help you to be comfortable in your relationship. They help you to show people how they can treat you. They help you to um, maintain who you are. They help you to kind of integrate into a romantic relationship, well, relationship period. But they help you to get into a relationship and come with everything of who you are and feel safe and feel cherished and loved in this situation. Okay. So you have to have boundaries. Boundaries for you may be he can't be more than 15 minutes late for a date. Or he, I don't know, in the morning he needs to we need to talk on the phone versus getting a text. Your boundaries may be whatever they are. I know for me, I'm not receiving no disrespect. That was my boundary. You're not going to disrespect me. I had enough of that. I'm not going through that. Soon as I see that you were abusive, I'm out. Grew up with that. Not trying to go there. Not in my long-term relationship. You absolutely have to have your own relationship with God. Like when we're married, yeah, I'll pray, I will talk to the Father for you on all of the things, but starting out, You need to do that for yourself. I need to know that you can do that for yourself. So that was a requirement. You need to have your own relationship with God. Um, what are my other boundaries? And you can develop the boundaries as life goes on and as your marriage goes on, because things change, people change. That's a part of life. We change every 5 years. So what you accept yesterday may not be what you accept today. So boundaries can grow with you. Um, let me see. I'm trying to think of some more boundaries that I had set back then, Lord, 13 years ago. Um, if I think of some more, I'll tell y'all. But you definitely have to have your boundaries, maintain your boundaries, understand who you are, and stay true to yourself. That is the next step or the next point. You have to understand who you are. Do not go into your marriage expecting for that person to accept you for who you are and you don't even know who you are. Take the time to explore who you are before you get into a marriage, before you get into a relationship that will lead to marriage, because it is so very easy to lose yourself when you are in your marriage. You need to know who you are, and that will also help you maintain boundaries. You need to know exactly who you are. Who are you? What do you like? What do you need? What makes you happy? What makes you feel loved? Know who you are so you don't get swallowed up, so that you don't throw away your identity and take on the identity of your partner. You don't want to do that. Know who you are beforehand. Know it and stay true to it. Whoever you are, you stay true to yourself. I've been trying not to say this, but I'm going to say it because you are going to be the one to show him how to treat you. So you have to stay true to yourself. Then you want to go to counseling. I'm so trying not to be that counselor that tells everybody to go to counseling, but it is so important. It's so important that you go to therapy, y'all. You gotta go. You gotta heal from that stuff that hurt you in the past. It's so, when you got the right therapist, it's so much better if you have that person that can guide you through your healing. You have to go to counseling. Counseling is so super duper important, because one thing I know for sure, when you are in a marriage, that man is going to be your mirror and you're going to be his. And you do not want to see the reflection of you and then all your baggage in the mirror. And that can cause problems in your relationship. So get healing, go to therapy. I wish I would have went to therapy back when I was single. All of the stuff that I dealt with before my husband, I should have had that stuff worked on and healed beforehand, but I didn't. So I should have went to therapy, but I'm telling you, you need to go to therapy and heal from that stuff. Get that gook out of you. Heal from it. It helps. And sometimes you gotta go, even though you may have healed the first time in therapy, you may have to go back and work on the same thing because a new component has entered into your life and brought that thing that you thought was healed to the forefront. So go to therapy. And you know how I told you I had my list memorized? I think you need to do the same thing. Okay? Because when you start meeting these men, then you're going to need to be able to check off the boxes as you meet them, as you talk to them. And I don't know if I didn't talk about it, but one of the things that you want to make sure you do is make sure you think about how you want that man to approach you. Here's why. The way he approaches you will kind of tell you his maturity level. It'll tell you whether or not you want to waste your time to talk to him and tell you where his head is. So I was cool on having these, little hood dudes coming up to me. Hey, let me talk to you. Da, da, da. I was fine on all that. No, I need a different approach. So that different approach helped me weed out the ones that were not for me. Okay. That's if they're approaching you on the street. If you're going to online dating or the dating apps, pay attention to what they have on their profile. Paying attention to the profile, that will show you whether or not he is just on that app to get laid or whether or not he is truly looking for something. I've told y'all before about when I saw my husband's profile, I was like, no, thank you. The pictures were not jiving for me, but what he had written on his profile, I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Because I was so staunch on I'm not repeating no patterns, but got confused when I read his profile. And then he reached out to me, and the way he reached out to me was different. So I had to say, okay, let me look at these pictures again. And I looked at them again. What I thought I saw the first time was not there. And Abba told me, hey, pay attention to this one. And, I had to go back and look. He told me to look. So things were different. So that's what helped me to decide to start a conversation with him. And how slow he took things. That was important also, because I was so used to these guys that were trying to rush things so they could get their gratification. That wasn't fair to me. So I paid attention to all of that, and you need to also. Okay? Don't settle. Being on this journey can be difficult. It could be challenging. It could feel very lonely, and that's the challenge. Feeling lonely. But that's when the enemy will trick you and send you a fugazi. And you will sit there and you will think this is him, but really is not. Don't settle. Do not get tired. Do not give up. Keep going. Maintain your standards and your expectations. Maintain them, because the reward is around the corner. Do not settle. Because the last thing you want to do is just settle for somebody because they checked off some of the boxes and you think you can help them develop the rest of it. No, do not settle. Okay? You're going to take your time. You're going to let the Father help you weed out the ones that are not for you. And you're going to be patient until you get the one He has for you. Don't settle. And then also get a self-care/self-love routine and keep it. One thing that I was doing was making sure before I met my husband, I was going to the salon. After I met him, I was going to the salon. And up until I just realized it was 2 years ago now, I was going to the salon. So get your self-care/self-love routine. Yours may not be going to the salon. Yours might look different. Maybe it is doing something creative. Maybe it's taking time to journal or write, whatever it is, stick with it. Make it your habit so you don't lose it. Okay? And that can also be a boundary for you. I'm going to stay and continue to draw. I'm gonna continue to draw so that I can stay focused, I can replenish and rejuvenate myself. This is my time. I'm gonna continue to do that. And there's nobody that can infringe on that time. I do that at 12 o'clock every Saturday. I'm gonna keep doing that at 12 o'clock every Saturday. So get your self-care routine / your self-love routine. Keep it, nurture it, let it continue to grow. Okay. And this is the last point, but it should have been the first. Strengthen your relationship with God and sharpen your discernment. So here's the thing. When you strengthen your relationship with God, then you will have a connection to Him so close that you will hear Him tell you, this is the one I chose for you. It's Him. That's Him right there. Yep, that's Him. He will literally point the person out to you. You heard me say, He pointed my husband out to me. He told me, go back and look at that. He told me, go back, look at those pictures. That's him. And there was this one thing that me and the Father, I talked to Him and I said, okay, Lord, if the sign for the man that I want, if he has kids, the sign that showed me that he is the one for me was that he was a good father. And the maybe third conversation, and this is via text, okay? Third conversation I had with Tariq. He was taking his daughter and her sister to get their nails done. And when he texted that to me, I dropped the phone. I was like, oh. And I said, okay, I know from here, this is it. So after he said that, it was off to the races for me. He had to slow me down, but it was off to the races. I'm telling you that because my relationship with God at that point I had worked on it. I continued to build on it. And the question that I had, he answered it. So you want to make sure you develop your relationship with God and your sense of discernment, because your discernment is also what's going to help you weed out the weeds. Okay. Your sense of discernment is going to help you figure out who is for you and who is not. All of that comes to play. Holy Spirit helps you with all of that, and you have to develop it. You have to develop Him. You have to develop the relationship you have with God. He is your creator. He is the one who created the mate for you. Why wouldn't you want to get close to the creator to find out who is for you? Just saying. So you want to make sure you get close and find and have that relationship so tight that he is guiding you every step of the way. Start talking to him consistently throughout your day. Talk to him so that he can tell you this is cool. Nope, that leave that alone. No, you want to try something else. Yep, that's it. That's the one. Develop that relationship. Okay? I hope this was good information for y'all. I love talking about this stuff because it sends me back down memory lane. Um, and it helps me when it comes to just reminiscing. Sometimes I reminisce. Sometimes I get a little kick out of this so that I know how far I came and where I need to go and how I should help you. That's also part of it. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you share this. Share it, share it, share it with everybody, every single woman you know. Share this episode with them. And don't be afraid. Don't don't be afraid of what God has for you, because whoever it is for you. You just got to take those steps to make sure you don't miss it or prolong it. Okay? Again, if you would like to be a guest on the Love Experience show, all you have to do is reach out to me on my socials at It's Ashley JW, or reach out to me via email, Ashley at itsashleyj.com. That is how you can reach me to set up a day, which would be a Thursday, set up a date, and get you on the show so you could be a guest. Okay? I really want some guests. So y'all show up. Let me know. Cause and help me pack out the rest of this year so that I can hear y'all stories. I miss hearing your stories. If you missed Molly Bates, you can hit the Love Experience Show channel and watch her episodes. She was really great. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. And let me see if you have any show ideas, any topics that you can think of that you want me to talk to you about. You can also write me on my socials at It's Ashley JW and my email, Ashley at itsashleyj.com, to let me know what those topics are that you would like me to explore a little more in depth. Okay. I think I got, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I think that's it. And I only got one more thing to say. One last question. And that is, what is your love experience? Bye, guys.